We are under, obviously, sophomores, and we are at week 15 and 16, motion graphics. There are two parts to this assignment. I gotta stay close to my computer so they can hear me. Okay? The first week, roughly, is this week where we're gonna be doing some tutorials on how to actually use After Effects, all right? As well as your storyboard, which we'll talk about what a storyboard is a little later on in the week, all right? So the main goal, after I go over this whole thing, the main goal for this week, by Friday, by the end of the day Friday, and most of you should get this done earlier, would be to have all the tutorials done, okay, and it's not a ton of them, all right, and then have your storyboard done. So that next week, all you're working on is animating your logo, which we are only, brushing what After Effects does. We're not going anything crazy, okay? If you get going and complete what you want to complete and realize you want to keep playing with After Effects a little bit, that's what you can do, okay? You can add more effects to what you've got. You can just play around and go crazy, all right? All the assignments are posted in Classroom. So you got your weekly grade, you got your storyboard, you got your animated NASA logo, okay? The rubric is here as well, all right? So basically, you got 40 points for motion, 40 points for composition, 20 points for creativity, all right? So that's there for you to check out. And again, we'll go over the storyboard in a little bit, all right? So After Effects is kind of industry standard for exactly what it sounds like, adding effects to video, okay, as well as motion graphics. So when you see things like these, okay, these are done in After Effects, okay? And once we get into After Effects, once you kind of see, you'll be able to really quickly pick out what's happening in these. And this is roughly what you're going to be doing with your NASA logo. You're going to be creating something that is no more than 10 seconds and just loops, okay? And it's going to be very basic, and it's going to be very simple, and that's okay, all right? So as we go through this, all right, the first step, as I talked about, is going to be your After Effects lessons, all right? And here's how the lessons work, right? This is a link, okay? The link will take you to Adobe's direct support page, all right? And I've listed the tutorials I want you to do, all right? So all of them, they're all here. There's a whole ton of them. We're not doing all of them. If you want to play later on with them, you certainly could. There's some cool project-based ones that like, hey, do this and try this, okay? But basically, if you look at your assignment, you'll see the first one is the After Effects Get Started course, which is this one right here. And I want you to do, all right, get to know After Effects, work with compositions. Just those two parts. So that's get to know and work with compositions. You're not going to worry about the rest of them, okay? When you click on the Get to Know After Effects, all right, it takes you here. You want to download the files so that you can use them, so that you can follow along. All right? And then basically right down at the bottom after you finish, you can click right to the next one. Okay? Or you can go back, or you can use the link. Really up to you how you want to move back and forth, but I wanted to kind of show you that. So you'll do the first one, which is basically just getting to know the workspace, how it functions. I will tell you, After Effects is one of the few programs that when it's open, if you click the red X, it shuts it down. It closes it. So keep that in mind. If you accidentally, like Illustrator, you can do that and it just minimizes it. Photoshop just minimizes it. After Effects, it closes it. Which isn't a big deal, but it's annoying. Okay? To me, anyway. So you're going to do that. You're going to do the Work with Compositions assignment or tutorial, and you're going to show me each of these pieces. It'll make sense as you do it. Okay? They're not long. The Work with Compositions, okay, which is the next step in this. If you go through, each of these videos is like 3 or 4 minutes long. They're in short chunks, which is really nice, okay? And it's going to show you pretty much everything you need to know to complete this assignment, all right? So you'll go through that. Understanding Layers course. Again, if I go back and back, all right? Here's your Understanding Layers course, all right? I want you to do the whole thing, okay? So understanding how layers are built, add layers to composition, position. So the first 3. Bing, bang, boom, okay? The 2D we don't have to worry about, and 3D we don't have to worry about. We're not getting into that right now, okay? After Effects is part of motion graphics. Motion graphics is part of our framework. That's what tells me what I have to teach. It's a small part of our framework, but it's one that students tend to like because it's different than what we usually do, all right? So that's why we're just touching the base. So if you look at it, a list out here, number 2 is understanding layers. You want to do understand how layers build compositions. Add layers to a composition. You're going to show me your big wave clip. Then you're going to do position and distribute layers. Some of the tutorials, they're going to show you things as though you don't have the opportunity to use Illustrator or you've never used Illustrator before, okay? Because these tutorials are based on somebody basically wanting to learn After Effects but not necessarily learning how to use the other programs. Does that make sense? It's like you can just get After Effects and be like, I don't care about the other programs, I just want to use After Effects, all right? So that's the third one. Animating essentials, same thing. You're going to do keyframe animation. You're going to animate an object. There's pieces that I want you to show me, okay, how to do it. And number 4 is build and animate custom shapes. Now this one, okay, shows you how to actually draw vector graphics in After Effects. The chances of you doing that for this assignment are very slim, but it shows you that you can actually create vector shapes in After Effects to animate them. Again, you have the access to Illustrator, but it's something that will help you understand a little bit how graphics work in After Effects, okay? When you complete these, okay, and honestly, I'm giving you till Friday, which is way more time than you need, okay? If you finish those, you're going to start your storyboard, which is the second part of this project, okay? I will probably go over the storyboard tomorrow. I don't want to overload you with too much stuff, okay? So the first part of this is going to be to go through the tutorials and complete those tutorials and show me the work that I have said that I want to see. I don't need to see every little thing, but there's a few little pieces that I want you to show me because those are crucial to understanding how this functions, okay? And again, we are not looking for Walt Disney animation here, okay? That is not the purpose of this, all right? There's animation and there's motion graphics, two very different things. We're not dealing in animation. We're dealing in motion graphics, okay? Which are these types of things, all right? Which are super cool and super easy to create, all right? Really, 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 honestly, they're super easy to create, all right? We'll go over the project again later. I don't want to necessarily overload you here. I wanted to have one piece of just what you're going to do, okay? The second part, which will basically, in my head, is all next week, but if you start earlier, you'll have more than enough time, okay, is your animated logo, and you're going to animate your NASA logo. That's what you're going to do, okay? Any questions about what you have to start with? We cool? All right, so we're going to start with those tutorials. Let me know if you have any questions.